In the hyper-commercialized kingdom of American sports, heroes are not born. They are manufactured, processed, and packaged for maximum corporate revenue. For decades, the United States dominated global basketball, American football, and the Olympic stages, yet, in the world's most popular sport, they remained a global humiliation, a powerhouse nation with no true soccer sovereign, till a quiet, introverted boy emerged from Hershey, Pennsylvania, the literal chocolate capital of the world. His name was Christian Pulisic. But the corporate machinery of Nike, the United States Soccer Federation, and major television networks did not see a teenage boy. They saw a multi-billion-dollar savior. They crowned him the Captain America of a new generation before his mind or body was fully formed. They demanded absolute perfection, but they completely ignored the psychological cost of building an imperial sports icon. Recently, the glossy facade shattered completely when Pulisic broke the ultimate unwritten rule of the national team by celebrating a crucial goal with a viral, politically charged Donald Trump dance. He instantly fractured a nation. The clean corporate hero suddenly became a cultural flashpoint, exposing a dark, deeply complex psychological warfare that almost destroyed America's greatest soccer prodigy. To understand the political and psychological explosion we see today, we must travel back to the cold, relentless reign of London. In 2019, Chelsea Football Club paid a staggering $73 million to rescue Pulisic from Borussia Dortmund. The American media corporate machine went into hyperdrive. He was marketed as the chosen one, the man who would finally conquer the brutal English Premier League. On the surface, the dream materialized. Pulisic became the first American man in human history to play in and win a UEFA Champions League final. He reached the absolute summit of European football, but behind the closed doors of his luxury London home, a completely different, terrifying reality was unfolding. The global pandemic isolated the young American in a foreign country. At the exact same time, his physical body began to betray him. Muscle tears, hamstring strains, and relentless physical trauma earned him a brutal nickname among English fans, the Man of Glass. In his recent, raw, unvarnished autobiography, Pulisic exposed the deep, dark valley the media hid from the world. In February 2021, he hit absolute rock bottom. He developed severe, paralyzing depression. For months, he was trapped in a psychological prison, forced to secretly seek professional therapy just to survive the mental torment. He admitted he believed he was too strong to ever need mental help, but the crushing weight of an entire nation's expectations had broken his spirit. While Nike sold millions of jerseys with his face, the human being inside the jersey was bleeding out in total isolation. As his mental health deteriorated, the tactical environment in England turned toxic. The British sporting press is notoriously vicious, and they smelled blood in the water. Every time Pulisic returned from a grueling injury, he found himself fighting a changing carousel of managers who did not trust his American football education. Soon, a dangerous narrative began to circulate through the Stamford Bridge terraces and online forums. Pulisic was publicly accused of toxic selfishness on the pitch. Fans called him arrogant, a player who refused to pass, a winger obsessed with individual glory rather than collective victory. But the archive of the soccer lore reveals a far more complex truth. Pulisic was not playing out of arrogance. He was playing out of sheer, desperate survival. When you carry the entire economic future of American soccer on your back, you cannot afford to be an invisible, safe team player. Every single time he touched the ball, he felt the invisible pressure of executives in New York and Los Angeles demanding a spectacular headline. This psychological conflict forced him into reckless, chaotic individual dribbles. He was trying to force a miracle to justify his corporate price tag, and in doing so, he alienated his teammates and destroyed his own tactical reputation in the elite European landscape. The alienation did not stop in Europe. When Pulisic returned across the Atlantic to captain the United States men's national team, he expected a sanctuary. Instead, he found a synthetic, commercialized environment that deeply frustrated his football soul. Following a crucial international match in Cincinnati, Pulisic did the unthinkable. He walked up to the television microphones and publicly attacked his own American fans. He stated he was deeply exhausted by the lack of true atmosphere, openly complaining that there were more rival fans in the stadium than actual supporters of the United States. He suddenly realized a brutal geopolitical reality. The culture of soccer in America was a manufactured corporate laboratory experiment. It lacked the raw, tribal passion of Dortmund or London. Simultaneously, the American mainstream media began violating his private life. Tabloids and pop culture outlets desperately needed to manufacture a glamorous, high-profile celebrity romance to elevate his brand into the mainstream cultural conversation, similar to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Outrageous rumors were fabricated linking him to pop stars and influencers. The pressure became so intense that Pulisic was forced to make awkward, public statements firmly denying these fake relationships. He was discovering that under the relentless gaze of the American marketing empire, his privacy, his words, and even his romantic identity no longer belonged to him. He was becoming a property of the state. This explosive pressure cooker of mental exhaustion, fan resentment, and media manipulation finally boiled over into a moment of pure, chaotic rebellion. During a critical CONCACAF match, after scoring a vital goal, Pulisic did not run to the cameras with a safe, corporate-approved smile. Instead, he stood before the crowd and performed the controversial, viral Donald Trump dance. Instantly, the sports world fractured. In a deeply polarized United States, this single, 5-second physical gesture was treated as a massive political declaration. Half of the nation celebrated him as a courageous hero who defied the progressive, corporate sporting establishment. The other half accused him of alienating minority fans and destroying the unifying spirit of the national team captaincy. Mainstream journalists demanded explanations, demanding to know if the captain of America's team was endorsing a political ideology. Pulisic tried to de-escalate the political firestorm, claiming it was just a viral dance that everyone was doing in the NFL. But the damage was done. The Captain America, manufactured by Madison Avenue, was supposed to be a neutral, sanitized, harmless corporate billboard. By bringing the raw, unfiltered political civil war of the United States onto the pitch, Pulisic proved that he was no longer willing to be a docile puppet for corporate handlers. He claimed his own agency, even if it meant splitting his fan base down the exact middle right before the ultimate tournament. Sensing that his brand was becoming too radioactive and exhausted in the Anglo-American media bubble, a secret geopolitical rescue mission was launched in the summer of 2023. AC Milan, iconic European giant recently purchased by an aggressive American private equity firm, Redbird Capital, swooped in to buy Pulisic. This was not a random sports transfer. It was a masterstroke of economic synergy. Milan provided Pulisic with a historical sanctuary, away from the vicious British tabloids and the hyper-politicized American news cycle. In the tactical, elegant environment of Serie A, the psychological pressure lifted. His body of glass suddenly healed. He began scoring beautiful, decisive goals, reclaiming his status as an elite global attacker. But make no mistake, the corporate empire did not abandon him. Redbird Capital used Pulisic's Italian Resurgence to instantly unlock the massive North American commercial market, securing lucrative streaming deals and corporate sponsorships with American brands who wanted a piece of Milan's historic legacy. He escaped the prison of London, only to become the bridge connecting Wall Street capital to the soul of Italian football. Today, as the 2026 FIFA World Cup finally takes over the North American continent, Christian Pulisic stands at the absolute center of the storm. The Hershey's Chocolate Company has manufactured millions of limited edition candy bars bearing his signature, turning the boy from Pennsylvania into a literal, edible mass market commodity. He has survived severe depression, fought through paralyzing physical trauma, and survived a massive political firestorm that could have ended his career. The system tried to break his mind to extract his economic value, but Pulisic learned how to play the game inside the game. He accepted his role as the billion-dollar shield for American sports capitalism, but on his own terms. As he leads his nation onto the pitch under the blinding lights of the World Cup, a haunting question remains for the archive of the soccer lore. Is Christian Pulisic a true, independent captain fighting for football glory, or is he simply the most beautifully engineered, highly profitable cog in the history of the American sports empire? The file is open, and the world is finally watching. Subscribe to the Soccer Lore and unlock the rest of the truth.